Well, since I'm not the only one who is having all the tech issues and all the issues at the day job and all the things going really not the way we want to this week, let's go ahead and take some feedback I was given about hashtag anime taught me and put it in place at the beginning of this month instead of the beginning of when we do it next year. Let's get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. As I mentioned beforehand, I've gotten feedback from a couple of people that would have been really nice if they had a live option to do hashtag anime taught me with. And I'm like, well, that's good feedback for next year. Thank you. And a couple of us agreed, just keep it as is. Well, then all of us started having tech issues for those of us who wanted to participate and couldn't. And I said, you know what? Let's not wait. Let's just go ahead and do it because it's a new month today and let's just start a new page. Welcome on back, everybody. My name is Jenna O'Malley. I am your soul writer, author, sci-fi, fantasy with dashes of romance and nerdy references. Let's get into the 5 things hashtag anime taught me about writing romance. If you want to go ahead and drop your Q&A in the comments below, fellow collaborators, you're welcome to do this if you have not done any recordings and just haven't had time. It's okay. You're welcome to go ahead and adapt. We're in pivot mode, my friends. We're in pivot mode. It's good to see Rachel there. I know Rachel's doing a live stream right now. Thank you so much for sharing in and listening in, my friend. Sako is here. Sako is one of our co-collaborators along with the epic Rachel. They're on the playlist of other people who have done videos to contribute to hashtag anime taught me. I know Penumbra Mind, MM Ward, and of course Sam Wicker have also contributed, and others have mentioned they might be joining in for this month, and if not, 2025, you got a whole year to plan ahead. There is the Google form with more information about if you would like to go ahead and check it out. Everything should, of course, therefore be alongside with in the description box below. Let's go ahead, not stall too much longer. Let's get started. Yes, I put the questions that I was going to go with on screen. So, number 1, diverse representation matters more for readers than we think. And this is something that I, as a teacher, have encountered a lot teaching banned books over the years, off and on argument. Let books be books. Whoever wants the books, have the books. And if they're enjoying them, let them. Stop taking them away, right? I mean, usually it's not doing any harm, usually. A lot of us as kids in the 90s, as far as anime by representation, know that Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune indeed were not cousins. They were far more than that. Also, of course, it took us forever to get the Sailor Starlights with an actual English adaptation because of the switch between genders when they are, quote, their everyday human self versus their superheroine self, right? So that was kind of, we knew it was there in anime, but it was kept at a distance from certain cultures. Another different type of representation that's definitely high-strung in anime is not just LGBTQIA+, and they were way ahead of their time in positive ways with representation there, but also you have different characters of different racial backgrounds involved. You also have, of course, highly empowered women. Why else would I refer to Sailor Moon as often as I do? Revolutionary Girl Utena is also going to be another one that I'm going to point out because it's literally the chick says, no, I'm going to choose to be a prince and save all the princesses from bondage. So yeah, there's that angle too. Then, of course, here in the modern era, you have examples like Yuri on Ice, it doesn't have to be all obvious. It can be subtle. It doesn't have to always be so obvious. Of course, who doesn't love a good slow burn? The slower the burn for some romance readers, the sweeter the spark when it finally gets there. And this could be a cultural difference sometimes too. A lot of times in anime, at least for me, I know, you have these teeny tiny, otherwise seemingly in life insignificant swoon-worthy moments. For example, who all wants to bet what went on when San and Ashitaka were in the grass at the end of Princess Mononoke? We all wanted them to kiss. For real. So badly. No, we gotta wait all the way until Howl's moving castle shows up and then it gets hidden behind her hat. We want to see the real thing. And I'm sure a lot of us kind of had those little tiny moments. See, I love a slow burn when it's good. And somehow, I don't know if Studio Ghibli intended to be good at it, but almost all of their romance subplots are slow burn. And some of this is, I think, because in certain aspects, the confession in anime is so emphasized as being important. So I noticed that some romance books, depending on what the book is aiming to do, de-emphasizes that. If you're a slow burn, make every second count. Make every second count. That kiss is definitely worth leading up to. One of my favorite examples is going to definitely also be in Fushi Gyugi. Literally for like the first 5 or 6 episodes, I'm going, why don't they just get together and be a couple and we're done with the show already? Oh, because you're going to yank that chain about 20 more times. Number 3. The romance has either to be the crux of the plot or loosely connected. Going back to examples of Sailor Moon, I mean, literally, if Prince Endymion, the old world version of whoever Queen Beryl's original name was, and Princess Serenity didn't have some sort of incomplete love connection going on that started a war and jealousy a little bit. I don't know if we would even have modern day Sailor Moon. I mean, that's kind of the question I go into a little bit. There's a couple of other titles in the Magical Girl anime series that heavily pulled on this. I think Cardcaptor's Sakura, the newer version, is better at doing this than the older version. And that just might be that something I'm going to cover here in part 5 in a little bit more detail. It's like the creators knew that this anime was going to grow up with its viewers, or that they needed to think in that context at least. So number 4, before we get to 5, romance is an acceptable subgenre in most genres throughout anime, and in no way does it have to have steam involved. But if steam is involved, it might as well take a notion from a Broadway play called The Pajama Game. It's an older Broadway musical. Literally, the title of the song is called Steam Heat. Don't demonetize me, YouTube, because you have a copy of the song here but played somewhere else, so don't demonetize me before I'm even fully monetized. And it talks about things that, you know, are steamy and little risky. And I'm like, this is in the middle. This is not what I was expecting in the middle of this musical. I've noticed this is happening more and more as anime goes straight to places like Netflix and like Crunchyroll. So if you know your audience is looking for sweet, don't misrepresent, and know your steam levels. You know, slow burn all the way to it got volcanic one night, if you get my meaning. So know your spot on the spiciness Scoville scale. There you go. Number 5, moving onward. Now that I'm probably blushing a little bit. Moving onward, what was the lesson here then as a subgenre in and of itself? If this is especially true for younger writers or people who are making pivots into new genres that include romance either as a main focus or a subgenre, pay close attention to what the typical age group of that really is. It feels like, I could be wrong, I feel like a lot of us who tend to write space opera romance is a completely different age group than those people who tend to read paranormal. It feels like paranormal with the vampires is a much bigger age group. It feels like the space opera romances are a little bit smaller age group. I could be wrong. I could be wrong in that. That's just, so kind of keep the expectations therein too. Not necessarily on trend, but maybe don't shock and awe them out of context either. Because sometimes, and I've made this oopsie myself, is why I'm kind of speaking on it, anime has a way of shock and awing you, and you're like, is this really happening? Is this really happening? But in not good ways. Okay. Sometimes it happens and oh my God, we're getting a bonus scene of them they're really doing this. They're really kissing him more. Oh my God. And sometimes we're like, dealing with the entire parent arc for Taiga and Toradora. Okay, I did not expect to have to deal with parental trauma dab smack in the middle of my rom-com high school silly romance. Thank you. A lot of set in high school anime or set in young adult, set in new adult age groups tend to kind of be adding those shock and awe. I guess it could also go all the way back to what Griffith did with the Band of the Hawk and Berserk. Yes, I'm bringing that up because I was like, there's no way. Griffith, no. And of course, there's what Oberon tried to do in, SAO with the cage, and I'm not going to say more than that. On that note, before we keep going down the dark side of this coin, let's back it up and just know there's a spectrum. Where do you want to be and what shade of gray do you want to be on it as far as how much spice is there? Is it typical? Is it still cinnamon roll sweet or is it the dark stuff? And do you want to warn your audience or not? I guess would all be good advice from anime about writing romance that really, truly could take people's feels and make them want to, if not throw your book across the room in anger, shock, awe, disbelief, at least go rant and rave and post about it on social media. If you have any other questions, do let me know in the comment box. Thank you, everybody, for joining on in. Hopefully, with the mix of pre-recorded and live available, more of us will feel we have the time to do this when we have the time to do this. But above all, thank you for stopping in. Take care of yourself. I know you're worth it.